All right, greetings. We rolling? It's Freedom Phil. Like and subscribe. What I want to talk about today is the idea that voting is an absolute scam. Voting in America, the so-called representation republic, so-called democracy, is an absolute scam in the sense that you, as a responsible person, are expected to carry the weight of a bunch of people that didn't do a damn thing for it. And if we have enough common sense to say to a child, no, you don't get to make the decisions because you're a child, you're not responsible for anything, you're not handling anything, you don't have any skin in the game, then why is it when it comes to people that live off the system, we give them the right to choose how your money's spent? Yeah, that's the topic. Freedom Phil, like, subscribe. And once again, if you're a parent and you're just letting your kid watch my channel, you should know what your kids are watching. I swear I cuss and talk about real issues, the type of thing. If they repeated it in a public school, they'd be calling the parents. Did you know what your kids said? They said something about freedom and liberty. That's bad. Anyhow, yeah, this isn't the channel for kids. Let's get into it. Freedom Phil, like, subscribe. I put it like this. I've seen this situation where in modern society, we're expected as responsible people to carry the weight of a bunch of people that generally, it used to be people had a little bit of appreciation for the help. I don't know if that makes any sense, but, back when people had to go before, the local council or the church or something, a group and ask for help. Alms for the poor. People could be thankful that you helped them out. Now, people have gotten this entitled idea. These are my benefits. These are your, when the government says these are your benefits, they're trying to take away your benefits. People have lost all concept that this comes from somewhere, somebody. And mind you, it doesn't help that the government's constantly just printing money. Well, we've promised all this crap, but we can't really afford it. So, money printer go burr. And at this point, it's not even money printer. It's literally just, just add some zeros to the ledger. And then blame all the problems the cost on, the other team or China or something else. It's like a lot of our problems are self-inflicted. They really are. Our cheap plastic problem is a Chinese issue. We used to build quality stuff. Now we get crap from other countries. And it's weird that, when I hear a lot of people talking about these big corporations, these box companies, yeah, they gave you 30% better buying power than you would have had otherwise. Ironic, right? But on the flip side, you're buying crap that's going to break. We live in a world of cheap, disposable everything. And, we've lived very comfortably for so long. I mean, when you look at the average EBT American, your Walmart, little rascal crowd, EBT Americans, talking about, oh, how we got no food. We're going to starve. Where's my EBT? And I'm just like, well, you don't look like you need EBT. I mean, fuck, I don't look like I need EBT, and I don't have EBT. Sometimes when I think about, God, that'd be awesome. If I had $250 or some states $300, I look at, this is the thing that gets on my fucking nerves about a lot of the EBT crowd. You guys, literally, I'll see you guys, some of you guys at the food banks, and you'll load up there, and then you'll go and spend all your EBT money, either like, yeah, by the way, Costco takes EBT. Think about that one for a second. So they're going in buying the highest quality cuts of meat and all this other stuff on your tax dollars. They've already got all the food they need from the food banks. At this point, they're just either spending it on luxury cuts of whatever, or they're going to the Dollar Tree and buying energy drinks and soda, candy, And it's just like, why should the working class, who actually pays into the system, like, okay, arguably, I've said it before, I'll say it again, when it comes to taxes, majority of you, if you have kids and they're in the public school, you never pay taxes. And then even when you think about Social Security, well, let's be honest, a lot of you are going to outlive anything you ever paid. And even what you paid doesn't exist because it was already paid to somebody right now. It's a Ponzi scheme. But like when you get down to it, when your public school for your child cost, anywhere from $9,000 to $17,000 or $20,000. A state that I grew up in, I thought it was like 15. No, it's like 17 grand per child per year. And if you have like 2 kids, you definitely don't pay taxes. You get more in benefits. You do pay into the system though. And mind you, you do get benefits the whole way along. Like, hey, those roads that keep the food coming to your place. So, how you're having an orange in a state that's frozen? Yeah, that's part of the taxes. The prison systems to keep the fuckos in jail, and the military that keeps other countries from getting a little too interested in our land. Yeah, you do get benefits. Arguably, I'd say you get a bad deal on it, but at least you're paying something in. And if nothing else, like say you're doing a job, and this job is a necessary thing like plumbing, electrician. It's not some boutique of bullshit. Consumeristic bullshit. And by the way, I think there's a time and a place for stuff like that too. It's kind of cool to have a little main street downtown, and they got this shop, maybe an antique shop over here. That's cool. It is a little coffee shop. I think that adds character to our lives. But the people that really do the real work in society, yeah, you are contributing, even if it's not through your taxes as much as through just what you're producing. You're helping keep society going. And so to think you have that person, obviously that plumber, that electrician, that person who contributes, and especially let's say they're in the military. I think they should have an additional vote, just like contributors. If you're a business owning taxpayer and you're like, maybe let's say one for the military, one because you're a contributor, and one because you're a business owner that actually makes shit happen. Yeah, you should probably have up to 3 votes. As where the person on the system, I believe, should have negative votes. Because, for instance, we know well enough that with children, we don't just let children steer the bus of society. We don't let them steer the bus in any situation. We're like, look, they're kids. They're still developing, maturity and all that. Okay, so, when they grow up, they have some responsibility, then they can be part of society. But instead, we just make it based off age and not what you've contributed into society. And that's where I look at, like, whether it's the, Trailer Park Ruby Sue and her Junkytown Jerry boyfriend, or, your urban Shaniqua with, her Jamal, who's in and out of jail. And you get, no offense, this isn't just a black thing. The difference between the white and the black poverty is the black poverty has a culture that frankly accepts violent bullshit behavior more than the white community. And the part of it is that white community, we have what's called white trash, and we throw it out. And there is situations where people are just like, we just don't deal with those motherfuckers anymore because of the way they conduct themselves. Now, you could argue the reason the black community is the way it is because being a more minority group, pretty much we all got to go together. Well, I'm sorry, but like when you're killing each other in the streets over some dumb shit or someone scuffed your fucking shoes. I remember one time, a little quick story. I'm hanging out with one of my buddies and he's kind of a bullshit. He faked crazy to get a check. At one point we're talking, his dad, him and they're out there. His dad comes up and he scuffs my boots. And they kind of gives me this look. They both give me the look. Yeah. I'm like, I smile and look at him. Was this some fucking hood shit your fucking son told you? It's like, well, I just, applying for jobs. And I'm like, no, this is some hood shit. I'm like, God, you guys are so fucking lame. And I looked at Larry and I'm like, you're 60 something. You're damn near 60 years old. What the fuck is this? Just lame, childish, fucking stupid shit. And arguably, this is a lot of people I've ran into over the course of my life. Even a lot of the working class people. I think, honestly, another vote, you should get another vote if you're maybe 2 votes. If you're responsible, then you can show a good path to where you're going. Yeah, an additional vote. If you're debt free and if you're a minimalist and you're able to, the earlier you're able to retire from your hard work, not from inheritance, from your hard work, and you should get a few extra additional votes. Because the people that are minimalist, that are actually capable, like 7 to 10 years. So retirement by 30. Yeah, I think those people are the people you'd want steering the ship on how the finances are done. Not the people that are like, nah, who's gonna feed me? And this is the problem, for all the bluster and bullshit of the boomers back in the day. Oh, yeah, we're steering the ship. Now, let's be honest, boomers. A lot of you were fucking horrible with money. A lot of you were obsessed about, I got the corner office and look at my car, and car these days, my Escalade or SUV. And by the way, I'm not trying to trash on people that own Escalades when I say that. It's just everybody knows what an Escalade is. Most people don't have a clue what a Bugatti is. So, I mean, hell, if I said, "Oh, that vehicle, a bidet," most people wouldn't even know what a bidet is, and it's not a vehicle, by the way. One of my point is that we let fucking adult children steer the ship, and we got a good, I don't know, 30 to 50%, depending on how you look at it, of fucking useless fucking people. We got a small part of the 1% and the upper 5% to the 10% that actually really, that exceptionally have their act together. And look, I'm not a huge fan of the 1%, but sitting there trying to blame every fucking problem that you had in your life on some mythical monopoly man. I don't care which one it is, which side, right, left. I don't care which side you're on. Saying, well, that person over there, yeah, totally. It's totally because that person over there, that's the reason that you didn't get off your ass and study something that would have got you somewhere. Totally their fault. So the system, they said, bullshit. I've heard this crap my whole life since I was a child. And usually it's from people who just want to get off their ass. Now, let's just acknowledge a lot of the people that make those socialist style excuses. You're fucking lazy. That at the end of the day, at the core of it, you're fucking lazy. And eventually they just all kind of go with it. And you know, it was one thing way back in the day. Like when I beg change, for instance, yes, I'm a horrible person. I'm a hardworking man when I want to be, but if need serve it be, I can get by on almost nothing. I'm perfectly happy with nothing. You know, like I got what I got and I'm good. I see these people that don't understand that you should be thankful that somebody parted with their money so you could be better off. And the reason that is that we have ghost taxation. We have a gun pointed at our wallet invisible gun, and that's the government. It takes your money, and then it redistributes it to other things. Like some of it, like makes sense, like the military and keeping the roads going. You know, that 10%, maybe 30%, if you want to be generous, and the other 70% of it's literally just buying votes. And crony capitalism, where basically, the corporations are getting kickbacks from the government. Basically, they're like, oh, there's a tax deduction because this senator lobbyist, blah blah blah. But yeah, a lot of it's just there to buy votes, and I look at that and think to myself, how long can this go on? Well, thankfully, and you should all be really thankful that we got a big military and a lot of fucking nukes. You should be really thankful for that because that's the only reason that your ass hasn't had to get a job. If we were one of those small countries in Europe, we would collapse. We would have collapsed ages ago by the way we print money. You're like, you don't believe me? Look what happened to, Italy, Greece. What was the other one? It was the pigs. Portugal, Italy, Greece, Spain. Without the rest of the EU to fucking support their asses would have been full out riots and all this crap. And why? Because they just printed money. They made a lifestyle of and the corruption too in a lot of those countries, just the bribery and all the other crap. I mean, you see this in Mexico, you see it in a lot of other places too, just like bribery, like fuck India, the legal system, no, the bribery system. Bribery system is how you get things done. But yeah, you have a bunch of adult children, and we allow them to vote. And like I said, I would give extra votes to responsible people. Have you served the country? Have you done something incredible? Have you built a business? And are you debt free? And then even more of that, we should be able to measure someone's level of minimalism. The more of a minimalist you are, the more of a vote your vote should count for. Because you're actually showing a better way. You're showing early retirement versus slaving away. And I know I hate the term capitalist because it's not really accurate. Our consumer system doesn't want you to ever stop buying shit you don't need. But I just look at it in a world with fading jobs. We really got to admit that we have jobs. The jobs that are out there are slowly being replaced by AI, robots, and whatever term they want to use, but they're being replaced. So every time you retire younger, you're making space for another person that could actually be doing that job. And the people that are capable of doing that, those should be the people that are in control of the finances. Maybe even be the leaders. Because long term, they'll look at something and go like, well, if we do this and this, multiple generations will prosper. We keep on going the way we're going now, letting the Ruby Sue trailer trash and the urban Shaniquas do the voting and be the mouthpieces. By the way, and one could argue, ever since women got the right to vote, we've been voting for more socialism. Big surprise. It kind of appeals to them. What, free money? I won't have to be responsible? Sounds great. I can kill my kids. I can literally just execute them in the womb. I won't have to be responsible for my decisions. Wow, doesn't that sound like a fucking child? But yeah, that's part of the reason. This is another one of the many reasons. When you're a logical thinker and you go out and look at the world that we've created, we the people, stop blaming the 1% for all of it. Yeah, they have some control, but you vote for these people and you vote for your own selfish interest. So from my perspective, I'm just like, nah, fuck a lot of your society. I want as little to do with it as possible. Peace.